Hi, my name is Carrie Peterson, and I am here to share with you a better understanding of my community and school district in Hays, Kansas. I currently teach in USD 489. I'm in two buildings, O'Laughlin Elementary and Hays High School. I teach ELL students at both facilities. There are a lot of customs and traditions involved in this community. I have only lived here for about a year and a half, so I'm still learning a lot about what goes on. We do have a high number of Volga German descendants. It happens to be the German capital of Kansas. Oktoberfest and Wild West Fest are annual citywide events. Religious affiliation is primarily Catholic. We have an active community with many supporting FHSU, which would be Fort Hays State University, as well as Hays High School activities and sports. Primarily Caucasian middle class. We do have an influx of Hispanics to the region working on wind farms as well as within the oil industry, and that happens to be changing demographics. People here who have been here a long time are not as receptive to other cultures overall. I can't say that about all of them, but overall, not quite as receptive to other cultures, and this might be one reason why Hays has remained a city with little diversity aside from the university. Population characteristics are, the population here is a little more than 21,000, and just over 93% of people are high school grads or higher, which I think is pretty impressive. 35% have a bachelor degree or higher, and the median age in our community is 29.7. Predominantly white, at just over 90%. FHSU does offer more racial and cultural diversity to the community of Hays than just the community itself. Our communication channels would be Twitter, Facebook, PowerSchool, school website for each building, Blooms, which is used in a lot of classrooms at the elementary level, and of course email. A lot of our advertising, our community events are announced on the radio, through TV or daily newspapers. We are primarily English-speaking community, which makes it difficult to reach some of our community members and our parents who happen to know little to no English. Our demographics are changing, however. Spanish speakers are the second most populous language speakers in the community, and most people happen to receive their information primarily through the newspaper or online news. I would say Hays Daily News is the primary newspaper available. I think this is where Standard 8 Function A comes in, where effective leaders are approachable, accessible, and welcoming to families and members of the community. In other words, the more communication channels you have available, the more likely you are to reach the largest amount of people in the community when it comes to what's going on in our schools, what we might need help with in our schools, and so on. We have a lot of community groups here in Hays. Fine arts are greatly supported within both Fort Hays State University as well as Hays High School. Varying influence. Our district did move to a one-to-one technology initiative this year, and this has allowed teachers to use a variety of methods in educating students in their classrooms. Each building seems to have a different method of approaching the curriculum, which can be confusing for somebody who is new in the system, like myself. I have been teaching for 19 years, coming from a district where everybody was pretty much on the same page each quarter or semester. Every 9 weeks, there was a curriculum set out that had to be met using the basal readers and other methods of educating. So in the building I'm in, the approach is different maybe in a different building on the other side of town and how they approach the curriculum. There are very few textbooks utilized at the elementary level, and there is really a push for no textbooks that seems to be occurring at the high school level as well. A few of the community groups are involved in assisting everyone in the community, and those include the Chamber of Commerce, CASA, Catholic Charities, Big Brothers Big Sisters, Ellis County Coalition, and Hays Recreation Commission. Each group has a mission, and it seems to facilitate developing lifelong learners, as well as active participation within the community. I would say Standard 8 Function G fits in well here, where effective leaders develop and provide the school as a resource for families in the community. What I would like to see happen, what what I think would be great if we could have some more buy-in within the community is to open the doors to our schools, not only during the day for our students, but to have even like a town hall, like a meeting kind of set once a month, to invite people in to see what their thoughts are on things that we could do differently, things that we're doing great, where teachers and students could share the things that are going on in their classrooms. We get so busy with the day-to-day of educating that we forget to take a step back and look at all the great things we're doing, and even the things we need to change. Leadership as far as Hayes is concerned, our mayor is Eber Phelps. Our vice mayor is Sean Musil. Our Fort Hays State University president is Dr. Mirta Martin. She has done a phenomenal job. She has stepped in just in the past year and a half and made some great changes. USD 489 superintendent is Dean Katz. City manager is Toby Doherty. Fire chief is Gary Brown. I have had dealings with Gary Brown, and he does a great job of getting back to teachers, to people within the district, when we make phone calls and reach out for his assistance with student education concerning fire. Police chief Don Scheibler, and of course school board members. And there are several that are new as of this year, and that speaks volumes, I think, as far as the change the community is hoping to see. Community leaders' characteristics. Each of the community leaders are easily accessible with what seems to be open door policies. Again, I am not familiar with all of the leaders, as I've only lived in the community for about a year and a half. Dr. Martin has worked diligently to create an atmosphere at Fort Hays State that's one of caring and empathy for all. For instance, she opened her doors over the Thanksgiving holiday to students who weren't able to leave campus and go home. She had a meal. She provided a place for them to be with a home environment, and that is her own home located on campus. The school board versus the educators and community members. I would say there's been a great deal of friction between the school board members and the staff and community during the past few years. Hopefully that will change in the near future with the turnover of school board members. Economic conditions in Hays. The City of Hays 2015 budget continues the practice of sound fiscal management. The thing that I find very interesting is the income earned by household, given the top three include those people making less than $15,000 per year. In Hays, that would be 17.63% of our community. To me, that is not a great number to see. I know the national average is higher. However, we are a small community, basically, and that puts almost 20% of the people in our community basically living in poverty. And I see that as that needs to change. 75 to 100,000 will be the second largest group. That would be 12.7%, which is actually a little higher than the national average. Excuse me. And the 30 to 40,000 a year range is 11.27%, and the national average is lower than that, which is 9.9%. Average household income here in Hays is $43,376, which is well below the national average. And the family median income is $61,663, just a little bit below the national average. One thing I have seen in the past year is that the oil industry has been hard hit here in the Hays area. We have brothers and uncles and fathers who have been affected by this economy a great deal. Loss of jobs, layoffs, makes it difficult for families to survive financially. The university enrollment, however, is up at Fort Hays State, while down at other state universities. The political structure here in Hays is politics and education naturally seem to coexist with each other within a community, and this can be beneficial in one sense, but also may have negative connotations. Past and a few current school board members are well-known names within the community. There was a major turnover within the school district this year. A few of the new members are not well-known names within the community, and I think that might be a good thing. They can step back and see things from a different perspective. School budget is not sufficient to assist with updates in our school buildings. If you walk through many of our buildings, we are needing updates. We need repairs made that our budget is not sufficiently able to handle at this time. Teachers and Hayes NEA members and the school board have yet to reach an agreement as to contracts for the current school year. Social tensions. Few, if any, social tensions are evident within our schools other than within sports at the junior high and high school level. Much of what I've heard in a few of the other videos. Parents, of course, my son's better than your son, and that kind of thing. Just competitiveness that gets taken to another level. I have seen absolutely no gang activity in our community. There are cliques within every community, and Hayes is absolutely not any different. And within our schools, I actually don't see any discrimination. However, within the community of Hayes, I do notice discrimination against outsiders. And outsiders meaning people of different cultures, colors. It is evident in the community when you are shopping, when I work with parents of my second language learners. I hear a lot of stories from them about how they might be treated in the community, and I certainly hope that does change. Extra sources of information. PowerSchool is utilized here, K through 12. InfoSnap is also utilized for enrollment purposes. Individual school websites are utilized. Our Chamber of Commerce is a source of information for the community. Maybe not necessarily full of district information, but community information. The minutes of our school board meetings are available online, as well as through a district YouTube channel that allows live viewing of school board meetings. One drawback, though, of online access is that not all of our families are really capable of viewing these meetings because they might not have internet access at home. In the power structures, I have briefly discussed the friction between the school board and the community at this point in time. I believe community members spoke volumes when they voted in new school board members because they really felt like it was difficult for the previous school board members to think outside the box, to think of their situations within the community, their children and their students within the community versus where those school board members might sit within the community as wealthier, well-known names. Then that created a barrier between actual community members, and I would like to see that change, and I see that going in a better direction now. More community members are taking part in meetings with the school board because they want to be sure their voices are heard. But overall, as far as our community itself goes, Hayes seems to have very few power struggles. Multicultural issues. This is an area where I see a need to develop a better understanding of our cultural community members. Our Hispanic population in our community has a great deal to offer. And I think we do lack the ability to distribute necessary materials because we're really limited as to translators within our school system. Most of the translators we have happen to be paraprofessionals that already work within our school district. And I think Standard 3 Function A works really well here. Effective leaders ensure that each student is treated fairly, respectfully, and with an understanding of each student's culture and context. When it comes to public opinion, surveys really aren't utilized as much as I think they should be within our schools. Without public support, our schools are destined to fail. And without public knowledge of what's going on and their feedback, I feel like that could definitely be a negative for our schools. Parents and community members should be asking more questions and participating more. We need to have proactive participation and more conversations with other people around us. And this is an area where I personally need to have conversations with building principals that I work with because I'm honestly not sure how they handle surveys in dealing with the public opinion. Here are the list of resources that I used. I feel like Hayes is just a really great place to live, a great place to raise a family. A lot of really great people are here. And I certainly hope that you enjoyed my presentation as much as I have enjoyed all of your presentations.